Hello, thank you for joining session 5 of this Sunbrush course. Today we're looking through the joystick and then the basic operation and how to run the machine. Now, of course, most of this will be run through in detail in your post-delivery training before you're able to run the Sunbrush. But having a bit of kind of generic basic run through is always a good idea, even before you purchase one. So we'll start off running through the joystick, kind of a basic joystick overview. On the side of the joystick, we have a 1.5-inch RAM mount fitting that you can, of course, use with the standard suction cup system that we deliver with every Sunbrush. But you could also go online and buy a customized RAM mount for whatever would suit your tractor. Maybe going directly to a door handle or a bolting point that you could use. But yeah, every machine is standard, comes with the suction cup mount. But yeah, if this doesn't quite work with what you need, you can always go online and buy something that will work. Of course, we have the 12-volt supply, which is on the 3-pin plug. And then on the other side, we have the grey connector, which is actually what we connect to the Sunbrush. And that's how we get the interface between the joystick and the Sunbrush, is through this grey connector. It comes with an extension cord so that you can reach this in the Sunbrush and have that connection. On the side of the joystick, we have the emergency stop. If you need to stop the Sunbrush quickly, you can just pop that in, and that will stop all the functions of the Sunbrush. It won't, of course, however, stop the tractor. That's completely separate. And therefore, if you do get in an emergency, you've got to remember stop the tractor and also stop the Sunbrush. I've never had to use it. I don't really know many people that do, but that is a safety feature that's good to have on the machine. One thing, if for some reason this does get pressed, the Sunbrush won't start up with that pushed in. So there's a quick bit of troubleshooting. If your Sunbrush isn't working, make sure that the stop is pulled back out so that you can actually operate the machine. Of course, on the top of the joystick, we've got 5 buttons, which we'll run throughout on the tractor when we're running through the training. But very quickly, orange is for the float system. The red and the yellow is for your brush control, the actual direction of the spinning. The blue is for our transport position and our track flex effect. And our white is for single or double-sided watering. We've also got on the body a RPM brush speed controller on a little dial. This is, of course, different tractors have different hydraulic flows, and of course, depending on the hydraulic flow, depends on how fast the brush will spin. This just means, regardless of tractor, we can adjust that. We can adjust that brush control speed to the right amount. It also slightly alters depending on soiling type. Some soiling works better with a slower brush, sometimes with a faster brush. But the great thing with this dial, you can adjust it from the cab to get that best result. So yeah, we'll now go out to the tractor outside of the warehouse on some demo panels and kind of run through that operation process to give you a good idea how it works. First thing you will notice with the Sunbrush, you will actually start 1 meter or 2 into the panel array. This is because we will clean the first section in reverse. So we will lower the brush onto the panel and we will then reverse back for the first section. This is so that we clean every last inch of those panels. Before we go off the end, we will click the orange button to lock out the float mechanism so that the brush doesn't drop. We then lift up, we change the brush direction using that yellow button, and we then drop the brush back down on the panels. And of course, this is already all assuming that the float system has already been pressurized, which we learned in one of the previous lessons. The float system is pressurized, so we can put that brush down on the panels, knowing that it's only about 50 pounds of weight. And of course, we have the brush forward at an angle by turning on the joystick, so that the brush can pass over gaps, like shown. And of course, when we get towards the end again, we bring the brush back to 90 degrees, so that we get the last bit of the panel as well. We need the brush to pass off the edge of the panel all at the same time. And of course, we press that orange button to lock out the float mechanism so that it doesn't drop. We then re-engage the lift cylinder and lift the brush up. On this pass, we will emulate ground undulations by lifting and lowering the linkage on the tractor. This is showing that as the tractor will pass over bumps on the farm, that float mechanism will keep that pressure constant on the panels. And we can have a foot, maybe more, of drop in this video, and that brush will not harm the panels at all. It will just float on the surface. And that's, of course, because it weighs 50 pounds or 20 so kilos, which keeps that constant weight there on those panels. For adjusting the track flex effect on the Sunbrush, we hold down the blue button on the joystick and we rock the joystick left to lift it up, or to bring it back down, we push the joystick to the right while still holding down that blue button. In order to put the brush into transport position, which we'll look at next, we need this track flex in its central neutral position. A few other things that are required for transport is we have a pin in the top of the lift lower cylinder, a strap that holds the float system together, and also a second strap around the brush that holds that brush to the boom. We also move this valve from the red to the green, which means that the same function on the joystick will now move the brush into transport position. So we hold down the blue button, we rock the joystick left to bring it into transport position, and you will now see the brush is close to against the tractor, ready to go on side of a trailer. But when you want to bring the brush back out, you again hold down the blue button and rock the joystick to the right, which will bring that brush back out into the cleaning position. We of course can also change our brush speed. So we turn the brush on and can adjust on this black dial the brush speed from 0 RPMs all the way up to north of 400. And of course to bring it back down, we turn it back down the other way. So yeah, I hope this video has been useful for giving you a pretty good idea as to how operating a Sunbrush will work. You'll of course still need your post-delivery operator training if you buy a Sunbrush, but this should hopefully give you the broad brush strokes of how you can operate it. Thank you.